Alright, so if you've been around in the FNAF YouTube scene for any amount of time, then I am sure that you have seen this sprite pop up from time to time as a visual representation of Henry Emily. Heck, even I've used it in my past few videos on the topic, but why is that? You see, this sprite originated in the FNAF spin-off game FNAF World, a single-player turn-based RPG released initially in January of 2016 before being taken off of Steam due to poor reception, only to be re-uploaded less than a month later with updated graphics and extra content, with even more being added in May of that same year. To say this game was divisive at first launch is putting it lightly, but today's video is not about the game's reception with fans. Instead, I want to cover another aspect of this game that has been sticking in my brain for about a month now, the Desk Man ending. In this ending cutscene, we are introduced to a man sitting at a desk, the aforementioned Desk Man, who spends the scene talking to our character, apologizing, saying how he doesn't want to disappoint people, that he's created a monster, baby, and how she cannot be deactivated. The scene then cuts to black as two piercing yellow eyes appear in the corner of the screen as something begins to speak.
The show will begin momentarily. Everyone, please stay in your seats.
The screen then cuts back and the man is bleeding out on his desk, indicating that whatever was lurking in the dark had killed him, though we are never given a reason as to why. The reason I bring this up is that when this scene first came out, so many theorists were debating as to who the Desk Man could be. Some people theorized that this was a meta comment by Scott Cawthon, placing himself in the game to confess how stressful making these games had been, but Scott had already placed himself elsewhere in the game as a boss to fight, so this idea was dismissed rather quickly. Another suggestion, and the one that seemed to stick best, was that the person at the desk was Henry Emily, the father of Charlie Emily, both of whom made their debut in the FNAF novel The Silver Rise. In the book, we are also introduced, through Charlie's memories, to a robot built by Henry to, take care of his depression. This event is what caused the community to cling to the answer that the Desk Man was Henry, which worked very well as we had never seen Henry elsewhere in the mainline games. That is, until Pizzeria Simulator. Now, as I talked about in both of my previous videos, Henry was the one responsible for the burning down of the pizzeria that was supposed to set all of the souls trapped in animatronic suits free, though it seems like his plan failed in the end, as nearly everyone has returned since then, except for himself. But even worse than that blunder is the fact that his appearance as a living person in FNAF 6 completely shatters the notion that he could be the Desk Man. Or does it? Alright, so there are a few things that we know about Desk Man, so let's go through them one at a time and see if any of these qualities could possibly fit with an in-game Henry. 1. Desk Man can build animatronics. We know this because he claims to have built Baby. We also know that in the games, Henry can build animatronics. In fact, his photo in the character guide is literally him looking at a set of blueprints. So that is a check in the yes column. 2. Desk Man built Baby. Yeah, we don't really know who built Baby in the games, though in the books it's kinda implied that Henry built her, as she's just the adult version of Charlie he built after she died. Though in the games, her blueprints from sister locations say Afton Robotics LLC on it. Though I guess Afton could have just stolen it from Henry, like is assumed happened in the books, and registered its patent under his open company, but other blueprints in FNAF 6 show the Fazbear Entertainment Inc. has copyrighted several patents, so you'd think Henry would have patented Baby's blueprints before she could have been stolen, so I'm just gonna say it's complicated and move on. 3. Desk Man is dead. Now, in any other universe, this point would be the nail in the coffin, no pun intended, but this is FNAF we're talking about. Dead people not actually being dead is kinda this series' bread and butter, and we already have an example in this series of a main protagonist who is both dead and still walking and talking and ordering paper plates. Michael Afton, who had his insides removed and a tangle of wires installed, but continued to consciously walk and talk even after all the metal spaghetti had left his body. Now, why is this, you may ask? Well, that's because during the procedure that Mike had undergone to turn himself into a human treasure chest, his body was infused with remnant. Basically a soul metal that has the ability to anchor a person's soul to this world, even if that person should, for all intents and purposes, be dead. This is how the spirits of the dead children can be bound to the bodies of animatronics, and also how Mike's soul could remain bound to his own original body, sans any internal organs, of course. This makes him something I like to call a remnant walker. Basically this world's version of a zombie. So this means that it is possible for Henry to also be a remnant walker then, just like Mike. A soul bound to a corpse. Unfortunately, I don't think so. Now, as much as I would love this answer to be the case, as it would make the ending of FNAF 6 just that much cooler, I don't think it can be for one simple reason. Baby's claw doesn't have a remnant injector like the scooper does. If she did, then wouldn't it have made more sense for Elizabeth's soul to just stay in her own body after Baby killed her, instead of being bound to the animatronic itself? It's frustrating, but yet, I think the answer to this question is a resounding no. But hang on, I hear you saying with excitement in your voice. Isn't there a way for Henry to still die at the hands of Baby and be present for the events of Pizzeria Simulator? I mean, why couldn't a spirit just bind itself to the pizzeria? I mean, it would make sense then why he needed Mike to bring all the animatronics into the building, and why he would only communicate to him via the intercom or phone. If he's only a spirit haunting the building, then he couldn't do any of it on his own, right? Well, firstly, nice work asking the exact question I needed in order to progress the script forward. And secondly, yes, that would work, except for the one caveat here. There have been no instances in this universe of a soul that is without a body to bind to remaining on this plane. Meaning that, in order for Henry's spirit to be bound to the FNAF 6 pizzeria, he would either have to have been killed inside that building, which we expect to have been built after when his death would have taken place, or when he was killed, his soul did bind to an animatronic suit, which was then moved to the new location. But if that's what happened, then why didn't he just remain in the suit instead of leaving it just to haunt the building itself? Now, whatever way you slice it, I think it is safe to say that, with the information we have been provided, Henry is most likely not dead prior to the events of Pizzeria Simulator, which means that the sprite that I've been using for all of my videos cannot be Henry. Or at least, it can't be him anymore. Because I do believe that this was supposed to be Henry back when FNAF World was first released, but shenanigans be shenanigans, and it was retconned to not be the case. But I could be wrong, and honestly, I hope that I am, because this would make for an even better story in my opinion. With that all being said, thank y'all so much for watching the video. Let me know down in the comments whether or not you'd prefer it if Henry were alive until FNAF 6, or if he was a remnant walker like Michael. And also give me some ideas for what we can call William. I came up with the name Manimatronic, like, you know, half man, half animatronic, but it's kinda crap, and I'm sure y'all can do so much better than me. Don't forget to subscribe while you're down there, and I will see y'all later. Take care.